The suspect has still not been found and remains at large. The house where all this took place, of course, has been a piece of local folklore for generations, with local kids insisting the legend is true and still very much alive. It seems a whole new generation of children are being frightened into believing that the wicked is just outside their window.
And cut. Great.
Hey, only Marv?
So we started by reading scripts, and we went through about, I'd say maybe 20 so scripts.
I found this script, The Wicked, which had been written by a very, very talented man, Michael Vickerman.
She read The Wicked 3 times. She said, Marvin, you gotta read The Wicked.
And I found it to be so precious that I wanted to make it.
I think I was just inspired by certain types of movies. Or the heart of it is really the dynamic between these characters and how they interrelate, how they come together, and hopefully, has the audience cheering for them and not wanting them to die.
You know, every script is open to the interpretation of the director and the collaboration with the producers and the writer.
Somebody's seeing the vision the way you're seeing it, and then it blossoms into this production.
By this time, she wanted to introduce me to a director friend of hers in California by the name of Peter Winther.
She called me up and asked me if I wanted to do this movie, and it was just kind of a perfect combination, a perfect storm of events.
And with Peter's vision and talking more with my partner County, I started envisioning a very, very unique horror film that was more than just a horror story.
There's a really interesting dynamic in the genre within the script. It's a horror movie, but within the script there are elements of different kind of movies. You know, there's a bit of drama and a bit of comedy.
This movie is about a bunch of kids going into the woods to test an old folklore story about a witch being in an abandoned house.
And we really, from the very beginning, wanted to tell a story about the classic witch. You know, this character was the backstory is that she and her coven were burned, or the rest of her coven were burned hundreds of years ago. She's one of the last survivors, and she's been roaming around. And the way the legend works is that she eats beautiful women and girls to stay beautiful, strong boys to stay strong, and young kids to stay young. And we have a mix of that within our group. And that's what the witch is out to do, is to get a little taste of each one of them and find yourself. And we see that. We see that progress in the witch and having these elements come into play.
You know, we kind of playing upon themes like Hansel and Gretel and some Snow White and kind of a lot of the classic witch mythology. We've kind of combined all these aspects together and creating a new mythology of what a witch is. And The Wicked is a story about a family that's going through a crisis. The base of the families, all American families, breaking up. The parents are getting divorced. There's two brothers, Zach and Max. Zach being the older brother. Zach is pretending it's not affecting him at all, and Max, his younger brother, it affects him totally. And that relationship is fractured just as their parents are fractured.
Take like Max, for instance, who is the younger brother. He's scared of death, he's scared of life, he's scared of all these things and looking for answers in the heavens that his grandfather sort of suggested there are things out there you can never understand.
Max is upset about his grandfather's death in this movie.
And you have a great relationship between Sammy, who is Max's platonic friend, this young girl, who obviously has a crush on Max, and we play that first love relationship. And Sammy is kind of the town delinquent. Had a tough childhood, but we love her.
And she's a 15-year-old girl who has kind of had a rough upbringing. She's a tomboy, she's misunderstood, doesn't have a lot of friends. But her best friend in the world who she grew up with is Max, and she's pretty much in love with him.
And there's one person in this movie who hates her guts, and that's the Deputy Carl, who's knows that she's responsible for a lot of prank phone calls and a lot of his headaches. And it's his mission to take her down and get her into a juvie hall and the whole bit.
One of my best friends in the world is playing Deputy Dickhead Carl, and he's Jamie Kaler, and was my college roommate. And it's the first time we really worked together, so we've had a lot of fun.
Well, I'm honored to be playing his partner in the film. He's a monster. He just commands great presence on film, and he's shown me a lot, and it's just been wonderful.
Then they have this experience of going out in the woods and finding out that this legend of this witch who eats kids to stay young is actually true.
Me and my best friend Max follow his older brother up to this haunted mansion to spy on him, kind of blackmail him because he's not supposed to be there.
He's got his best friend Carter, who's driving him up there.
Legend has it is you break a window, the witch who occupies the home will, at some point throughout the night attack you, kill you.
Carter has his girlfriend, so they have a little bit of a dynamic.
She kind of gets like a little wimped out at one point, but she steps it up.
And they've invited this new girl, Julie, along.
I'm the mysterious new girl, seen the world, comes from a big city. My character kind of connects with Zach because he's so honest and genuine.
There's all these rumors surrounding her. She came from another school late, and she supposedly slept with her teacher. She's doing cocaine and all these things, and Zach has a crush on her and thinks she's, unapproachable. By the time we're halfway through the script, we're cheering for characters who we might not necessarily cheered for, and we're not sure who's going to get away.
And they have to find a common bond and get together and defeat the witch.
When you make a film, you have to get lucky as well as good, okay? And I think every great film that you've seen has a good script, has a good director, has good producers, it has good cast, it has a good crew. Everything falls into place.
The actors are all terrific, from Justin Dealey to Devin Werkheiser to Jess Adams to Jacqueline Gauchi. And we have maybe the greatest witch ever in Cassie Keller.
Everybody rocks on the film. It's really cool. Peter's chill, like County rocks, Marvin rocks. It's a really good group of people.
I get to come here and work with wonderful people. The director, Peter, he's great. It's great that he has his family involved with it, his brother who's the first AD, and his nephew Tyler who's assisting in the production, and then we have a tremendous crew who works through all hours of the night.
You get to come out to places you've never been and work with amazing people and hang out with amazing people. Our director, Peter Winther, he's the man. County, our producer, our whole cast is awesome, and this whole crew, we've been having a really good time on this movie.
The director, Peter, great guy, really knows how to communicate to the actors, and that's a blessing.
It's pretty special to watch all these guys who come together from Eduardo the cinematographer to Peter the director to even down the sound with Sean and Rocky. People go to movies to be inspired, to feel things, and that's what we're out here doing, just creating magic. So that's what I love the most about it, is collaborating into one ultimate goal, which is to tell one hell of a story and hopefully touch somebody out there or scare the shit out of them, in our case.
Peter's vision, Michael Vickerman's words, County costume design. We've got Scott Kodrick and his special effects team who have done just an incredible job of makeup effects.
My older brother Kim came out and worked on the film. We have, so we have people like, Kim's worked on things like Mr. and Miss Smith and Jumper and all that, and I've never worked with him before as a director.
The cinematography by Eduardo Mayan is wonderful. It is incredibly wonderful.
I wanted somebody to kind of give two real distinct looks to the film. One, I wanted to have the real kind of bright, vibrant colors of suburbia and happy and safe and a lot of flowers and all that kind of stuff. And then they kind of go into this bizarro world of the witch, which is more of like enchanted forest, almost like kind of a Pan's Labyrinth kind of type fable. And Eduardo totally got that when we talked about it.
We have a wonderful production designer who, our sets look like $1 million.
We are walking on to the set of The Wicked right now, and everyone's busy working. We're trying to get our first shot in. So this is the witch's hallway. We have the cauldron room. We have the cellar where she stores all her bodies waiting to get eaten. It's all the bottom layers, the secret layers of the witch's layers, all on stage.
In order to make an indie film or a low-budget film, you have to have the passion, you have to have the love for this.
So I think in the end, the audience will be very happy with the film. Everyone who has worked on the film will be proud of the film.
Everybody is working so hard, and they're going the extra mile And everybody has their own individual task, and that's the beauty of filmmaking. Is, you know, you have a camera operator who is concerned about operating that camera. You have a production design who's concerned about what's on the walls on the set. You have a costume designer who's concerned about what they're wearing and how it relates to the story and how it enhances the story and enhances the character. And everybody takes pride in that. And when you see people taking pride based on words you put on a page, it's thrilling. No question about it.
I have the most fabulous crew of talented people.
I wanted to do something that I really, really believed in, and I can bring in the people that I know that will do the best job possible. And I rolled those dice, and I've won.